Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This is David Moore. He's a driver. He can drive all kinds of things. Oh, wait, he's a pipeline engineer on an oil rig, but he's still a good driver. David introduced himself on Facebook. He said, "Are you a cat lover?" Annie said, "Yes, I am. I have two. That's why I accepted your request." "Wow," he said, "I'm so happy to hear that." He asked Annie where she was from, and she told him that she lived in Salcombe in Devon in England. He told her that he was from Rome in Italy, but he lived in Florida. Then he said, "What's your name?" Annie said, "Can't you see my name on the chat here? I'm Annie." He said, "Wow, you really have a lovely name, dear." "My name is David Moore." Annie asked him what he did. "Well, I'm a pipeline/petroleum engineer. I'm also into oil and gas drilling." Annie told him she was a housekeeper. She said, "I look after a large house overlooking the sea. It's just a couple of miles outside Salcombe." "Are you working on a project now?" she asked. He said, "I work in Norway rig. I'm still in Florida. I'll go to Norway tomorrow." For added verisimilitude, he sent her a photo of an oil rig. And then said, "You mean you don't have a job? Cheeky so-and-so. Do you think housekeepers don't do any work?" Annie said, "Didn't I just tell you I'm a housekeeper? I look after a house just outside Salcombe. I've worked there for 10 years. The owners usually spend half the year in Devon and half in New Zealand. Since COVID, they've had to stay here. I don't think I could work on an oil rig. I love living near the sea, but I do like my feet to be on land. How long will you be in Norway for?" We work for 9 months over there in rig," he said. "How old are you?" Annie said, "I'm 45. How old are you?" 9 months is a long time without a break. He said, "But I can go on vacation any time. I'm 53 years old." As we go through this video, you might just wonder whether he mistyped the first figure, and what he actually meant was, "I'm 13 years old." He asked Annie if she was married or single, and she told him that she and her partner had split up last year. He said, "What happened?" She said, "I think that's our private business. We decided to go our separate ways before things started to get difficult." He went on to tell Annie, "Well, I am single father with one son. I lost my wife 6 years ago. I have put behind me that incident in which I lost my wife, and I have decided to move on with my life, to find someone to make me happy again. I really want us to know more about each other." "I'm so sorry about your wife," said Annie. "How old is your son?" "My son is 23 years old, he said. And he sent a photograph that was supposed to be himself with his arms around his son. A few videos ago, I introduced you to my new online researcher, Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson hopped on the internet, but so far she's been unable to find where the photograph came from. But she did get into action a little bit later in this video. "Here is me and my lovely son," he said. "I love him so much." And then Google intervened, as it often does in these conversations. It said, "Enjoying the gift of life by celebrating one another in deeds and contented smiles. I enjoy best the simple pleasures of life. I am a confident, articulate," sorry, shouldn't laugh, "articulate, educated, successful professional that is seeking an exceptional partner in life. And you please tell me more about yourself." "He looks like a lovely young man," said Annie. "Wow," he said, "you are funny." "Oh," said Annie, "why is that funny? Isn't he a nice man?" Annie told him that she had a grown-up daughter called Susie, who'd been brought up by her father. And then he said, "Tell me, are you still thinking of getting married?" "Oh my goodness," said Annie, "I'd have to meet the right man first." "That is everybody's player, to meet the right one. That's my player too," he said. "Nice to know that. What are the things that you like in a man?" And he said, "I like a man who treats a woman with kindness and respect." "That's good," he said. "Nice to know that. I was encouraged by my son to join Facebook that I can get a good woman over there." Google butted into the conversation, as it often does, and said, "I'm a loyal, trustworthy, genuine man, looking for someone to enjoy life with, and it has to be a long-term relationship. I like to take one day at a time and see what happens. I'm outgoing, humorous, sincere, understanding and hearten. I am passionate and very romantic. Communication, understanding and being each other's best friend. The most important factor is finding someone that knows what it means to compromise and be together." You sound lovely, said Annie. What a shame you have to go to Norway tomorrow. Annie, I really do have to give you some lessons on how not to be such a cynic. Oh, wait. What is it they say? It takes one to know one. But, he said, we don't use Facebook over there in Rig. We only use Hangouts. Oh, that's okay, said Annie. I can use Hangouts. That's a classic scammer technique, because they know there's a very good chance that Facebook will delete their fake profile. Over on Hangouts, he said, so what are your hobbies? Annie said, I told you what my hobbies are, silly. He'd already asked her on Facebook, and she told him that she liked working in her garden and walking by the seaside. He said, that's great, dear. Nice to know your hobbies. I'll tell you my hobbies. Google butted into the conversation again. I'm beginning to think that Google might fancy Annie. It said, I really enjoy writing, travelling, camping, rafting. Most especially I love fishing, four-wheeling, not afraid to get dirty, movies, going out for one, or staying in cuddled up, watching at home on the couch, dancing. I love any kind of music. I can dance to the hardest of rock, to very slow dancing R&B, live music, drinking, learning about fine wines and high-end tequilas, friends and family, going on road trips, short and long, and enjoying a great storm at the beach. Hey, with me you can be spontaneous. Nothing better than to take a ride somewhere beautiful and take pictures, have a picnic, take time to stop and enjoy the beauty. Go on, Annie, be spontaneous with Google, I dare you. I've never been fishing, said Annie. All right, he said, nice to know that. What are the things do you really think about in a good relationship? I like a man that treats a woman with kindness and respect, she said. I hate pushy men and bullies. You are kind, he said. Nice to know that. And then Google butted into the conversation again. I really do think Google's starting to fancy Annie. Google said, I think good communication, never being ashamed of each other for any reason, on occasion surprising your mate with a nice romantic date or evening together and telling each other, I love you. I think there's a lot of love and caring in a relationship, and so on. Annie said, oh yes, I agree totally with all of that. Google was so impressed by Annie agreeing with it that it continued, a good relationship is when two lovers understand each other, they're concerned for each other, and they respect one another. And it went on, and on, and on. You write such a lot, don't you, said Annie. Are you a writer or a poet? Seizing control of the conversation, our man said, what do you mean by that? Annie said, you've written such lovely paragraphs about relationships. I wondered if you write books or poems. I am USA man. I study in USA, he said. What's your favourite colour? Blue, said Annie. I'm not sure what you mean by the rest. You aren't a writer. Or are you telling me you studied creative writing at college in the USA? Yes, dear, he said. Where did you study? I didn't go to college, said Annie. I started work when I left school. Have you written any books? No, he said, but I always read book. I wonder what kind of books he reads. What do you think he reads? He sent Annie this photo of himself, reading a DVD cover, and added, I always read my book, always. He asked Annie a few random questions, and then said, what do you drive? Annie said, what do I drive? A car. What do you drive? He said, I do drive car, bike, ship. Do you have a car? Annie said, you drive a ship? Wow. Were you in the Merchant Navy? I told you, I work in Rig, he said. And then returned to that old scammer standby. We'd like to see your picture, if you don't mind. Annie sent him the same made-up photo that she'd already sent him, and said, you already have my picture, don't you? And how does being on an oil rig tell me that you can drive a ship? Oil rigs don't move. Driving a ship must be a really skilled job. You must have learnt somewhere. I like this picture of you, he said, but I've already seen this. So why do you want another one, she said. What's wrong with this one? I don't understand this obsession with selfies. I hate photos with me in it. And you still haven't told me where you learned to drive a ship. You're being too modest by saying you're on an oil rig. You must have learnt somewhere. To demonstrate his prowess at driving ships, he sent Annie another photo. And here it is. This is me, he added proudly. I really know how to drive. For the benefit of any visually impaired viewers, He sent a photograph of a man riding a jet ski. His attention then turned to houses. "Do you live in a house or apartment?" he asked. "I live in a little house," said Annie. "I don't own it, but I might be able to buy it soon. Did I tell you my uncle died recently and left me his money? I've asked the owners if I can buy the house. I think they will probably sell it to me." "Wow, that's great, dear," he said. "I love that. How much is the house?" Annie said, "I don't know. Probably around £350,000. I'm not quite sure." "Nice to know that," he said. "I live in my own house in Florida, Tampa. I have a 4-bedroom flat in Tampa." And he sent Annie some photographs of a lovely house. Dr. Watson, my online researcher, hopped into search engine land and found this article from November the 7th, 2018, about a house in Vancouver that had been on sale for $18.98 million. Yes, that's where all the photos came from. All apart from one. This next photo was somewhere different. Our man with the unnaturally large head wasn't walking down the stairs of his 4-bedroom pad in Tampa in Florida, nor was he walking down the stairs of his $18.98 million house in Vancouver. This is what Dr. Watson found. She said, "I think I have the stairs." With huge apologies to any Spanish viewers, because my Spanish pronunciation is really terrible. She said, "It's the Museo Nacional de Cerámica y Artes Santurias González Martí in Valencia." And then off he went to his oil rig in Norway and sent Annie this photo. I sent it to Dr. Watson, who told me she needed danger money and a raise in wages if I was going to send her photos like that. Even I could see that the photograph was taken in Alicante, not Norway. Annie asked him what he was doing when the photograph was taken. He said, "I take this picture this morning, and I'm getting ready for work." "What will you be doing?" said Annie. "Stop avoiding the question." "All right," he said. "I'll tell you everything about my job now." "Oh, I'd love to hear what you do," said Annie, instantly regretting having said that, as Google, yet again, butted into the conversation. The rig, it told her, is designed to operate in water up to 8,000 feet deep and has a maximum drill depth of about 5.5 miles. It can accommodate a crew of up to 130, and on and on and on and on. It's one of the more advanced rigs out there, he said. Panagos did not know how much the rig cost to build, but said a similar rig today would run $600 million to $700 million. I work with Rig 6 drilling unit as a rig departmental supervisor. And so it went on and on. "Oh, wow," said Annie. "Well, you have to get it in sometimes, don't you? That's really interesting. But you still haven't told me what you were getting ready to do in that photo." Google was energised by being asked and continued. "A rig engineer," it informed Annie, "develops plans, costs, schedules and supervises the operations necessary to the process of drilling and refining crude oil, from initial raw level to the completion and final level. Their role can involve..." And off it went again, in full flow. "You still haven't told me what you were getting ready to do when that photo was taken," said Annie. Defeated, Google went quiet, and our man had to take over. "I'm getting ready to start working. We are going under the sea today. I'll send you a photo if I'm done with my work for today. My son knows more about my job. Nobody visit me when at work or even call me, because this oil machine is highly inflammable and we don't use mobile phones or call when we are in field work. When I'm off from work, I will fly from Norway to Florida, and we usually spend time together. Next year will be a wonderful year, since you are going to be part of my family. What are your plans for today?" He spent several days asking Annie the sort of random questions that scammers seem to like to ask their victims, until one day he developed a curious interest in the amount of money that Annie was earning. He said, "How much are they paying you for your job?" She said, "I'm paid £25,000 a year. How much do you get?" He said, "I get $447,000 every year." "Nice to know that, my dear friend." And he continued, "Did I tell you I'm hoping to buy my house?" He said, "Yes, you told me that, and I'm very happy for you, my dear. When are you going to buy this house of yours?" She said, "I'm not sure. I'm waiting to hear from the solicitor. I'm hoping Uncle's money will be transferred to me soon, so if there aren't any problems, I might be able to buy it in May or June." He tried again to get her to send him a photo. He said, "Send me a photo of you." And he said, "I've already sent you my photo. Don't you like the one I sent?" I need your full photo, please, he said. You don't need it, said Annie. I told you I don't do selfies. Stop being pushy. I don't like pushy men. You don't want to send it? He said pathetically, sending a selfie. I passed it on to Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson went for a lie down in a darkened room. The next day, Annie told him that she'd spoken to her daughter, and that her daughter had suggested that she look at other houses before she went ahead and bought the one she was living in. And Man replied, Yes, honey, your daughter is right. You really have to look at other house. I really don't know what happened to me. What have you done to me? Oh, my goodness, said Annie. I don't know. What have I done to you? I really can't stay without thinking about you, he said. What have you done me with your kindness? It would be so lovely to meet, said Annie. Can you get a few days' leave from the rig to come to England? Yes, my dear, he replied. I really can't wait to see you in person. I can go on vacation any time. That would be lovely, said Annie. Do come to Devon. I can show you round. I don't know where you'd fly to. Which is your nearest airport? Our nearest one is Southampton. All right, my love, he said. I really have to call the United Nations to tell them that I want to go on vacation. OK, said Annie. Do let me know what they say. Honey, he said, help me to get MasterCard, so I call the United Nations. Know where to get it here in the rig. I really have to call the United Nations this afternoon, so that we get back to me in the evening. We don't have much time, my love. You really have to get this card, so I'll call the United Nations. You can get MasterCard or Steam Card. Go to Walmart's store and you'll get it there. Walmart, said Annie. What's that? I live in England. Honey, go to any supermarket. Ask them to give you MasterCard or Steam Card. You'll get it there, I promise. Do you think they'll have them at Tesco? Asked Annie. I need to go and do some shopping. Yes, honey, you can get it there. How much does a Steam Card cost? Asked Annie. $500. I love you. I'll never hurt you. I'll treat you right. I will always listen to you. I will respect you. I will love, respect and honour you for the rest of my life. I will submit myself to you as God wants a man to submit to his wife. OK, said Annie. I'll go to Tesco after I've had lunch. It must be a long way to her local Tesco, because she hasn't come back yet. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like it, please share it, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another Keep Safe on the Net video on YouTube.